part 5 of my $45,000 grandma story. I'm sorry that I don't have my background behind me that you all like to comment on, but I'm currently outside dealing with this. He's got to have his sunbathing time. He's solar powered. Oh, I also just gave him a bath, so thanks for that, Leo. Okay, jump scare. We are back at the wall. Leo ended up getting really hot, so he came back inside. So as everything was wrapping up with my grandparents, my grandma pulls me aside and she's like, I need to talk to you about something. I was like, okay, what's up? And she's like, your mom is really pushing me to move your grandpa into memory care because I keep waking up in the middle of the night to him like looking under the bed or like falling and hurting himself. Like, and she's a really small person. My grandpa's like a very, very large man, very tall. And this is why they moved into assisted living in the first place, because my grandpa kept falling and hurting himself, and my grandma like could not lift him and then would like hurt herself, and then they both get injured and she'd have to call an ambulance, whatever. So she's like, your mom's really trying to convince me to do this, and like I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I feel really guilty. And in that moment, you know, I should have realized, because I played this role for my own mother, that parentified me was coming out, that she was doing the same shit that my mom does to me, where she comes to me, somebody who is in a position of, like, not in the position of authority in this relationship, right, to ask for advice and validation for the adult decisions she's making. And I think the reason I ignored that feeling was because, like, I'm an adult now versus when I was with my mom. Like, I was a child when she was asking me to do stuff like this. So I was like, you know, maybe she's just like needs someone to talk to about this. She doesn't have anyone. Granted, again, that's not my job. I shouldn't have done it, but I did. And that's that. So I'm like, you know, only you can make that decision. Like, I'm not going to say anything about like what you should do either way. But what I will say is that you're the only one who can make that decision, and you shouldn't feel shame about whatever you decide. And you shouldn't let anyone like push you into making a specific decision, because really only you can determine like when it's becoming too much of a toll on your health. People are allowed to express their opinions to you, but like if they've done that and you've chosen to not listen to their opinions, like that's your right, and they shouldn't keep trying to push it on you. Like, that's controlling. And ultimately, like, I understand what it must be like being married, making the commitment to be married, and expecting to be with that person till the end. If my grandpa moved into memory care, what that would mean is he would be sleeping in his like memory care room that's like locked from the outside so he can't escape. And that would mean my grandma was getting full nights of sleep, you know. And she would pick him up during the day and he would come back to their other apartment. And I also understand from seeing it with my other grandma, like, it can be really disorienting to them. It can be really scary for them, especially when they're already like have so much of their memory gone, to move in at this point because like they don't know where they are. It just can be very, very scary. But at the same time, I said to her, like, yeah, you made that promise to be there for them in sickness and in health and whatever, but like this is still a way to be there for them. Like, getting the support of knowing that he's safe, and you can get a full night's rest so that you're available to him during the day, and not like, you know, spreading yourself too thin by also not getting sleep in the evening. Like, we were never meant to do this fully alone, right? Individualism sucks. We were always meant to do stuff in community with each other and have a village. And like, unfortunately now you have to pay for the village, but this would be your version, I guess, of the village. And she's like, starts crying and she's thanking me. She's thanking me profusely for the fact that like, I validated her, I listened to her, and she's like, all I wanted was someone to tell me that it was my decision. Like, I didn't feel like it was my decision, whatever. And I'm like, okay, Grandma, I'm glad I could offer that to you. But before I go any further, this is a reminder that I'm raising money for 2 families in... The first is Rhonda, who has several family members that are in need of urgent medical care, including her father, who's in dire need of heart surgery, and they have been stuck at this place in their goal for a long time. The second is Rabah, who we were able to get to their initial goal of $45,000, so they will be able to escape into Egypt after the border opens. However, that's not enough money for them to be able to survive, get food, find shelter, all of that stuff, so that's why the goal has been increased to $70,000. So I'm asking that for payment for this story. I'm asking that you give $5 to either this or this if you have over $1,000 in your bank account, and if you have under $1,000, you give $1 to $2 here. I post receipts every day of me giving that away. And if you can't do that, I understand. Engage over here, make a comment that is 9 words or more that's relevant to this specific video. No heart chains, no additional emojis, that cues off the Al Gore. Or you can purchase this shirt from the TikTok shop link. All commissions go to Rhonda or Rabah's family, as well as all profits go to Doctors Without Borders located here. And even if you don't want to purchase it, that's okay. Just click on the link, add it to your cart. That will help this video get seen. Thank you so much. And then she pulls out her calendar and she's like, just FYI, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, this person who was your mom's college roommate comes and cleans our apartment. And then she goes into the tea about this woman and that she was married to a man and the man left her for a younger woman, and now she has no income and also was a stay-at-home mom her whole life, so she doesn't have any sort of like work history to be able to get another job. So this is my PSA for all those trad wives out there. Do not depend on men. Have a separate account, get a job. Do not depend on men for your income, because inevitably they will leave you for a younger woman and then you'll be screwed. Okay, off my soapbox on that. But so she's like, you can't come Tuesday and Thursday afternoons because I know you don't want your mom to know, and if this person saw you, they'd definitely tell your mom. I'm like, okay, thanks for like letting me know that. I thought she was trying to be just considerate and as cautious as possible, but really she likely was just wanting to spill some tea, which to that I say, like, Grandma, you just need to listen to normal gossip. I'm sure you're probably watching this. Please, for the love of everyone in your life, just find the podcast Normal Gossip. It will scratch that itch for you for that mundane gossip without you ruining the lives of your friends and family. So we decide on Tuesday nights because even though that woman's there during the day, she leaves like early enough that I will never run into her. And my mom never comes on Tuesday nights and my dad just doesn't come really at all. So we agree on having this standing Tuesday night dinner every other week. Hello, Gilmore Girls. I thought it was going to be positive, but wow, she really turned into Emily, if you know what I'm saying. And specifically, the first time we had that dinner, it was supposed to be, like, I saw them that Wednesday and we were going to have dinner the next Tuesday. And I was going to bring my spouse, Ben, because, you know, Ben hadn't seen them in, like, over a year. They wanted to know how he's doing. They love Ben. Ironically, they don't know very much about Ben. If they knew Ben now, I don't think they would like him, but another time for another story. And I don't want to overshare Ben's personal information on here because, like, that's his story to share. But anyways, as you can see in these texts, I tell them I spoke with Ben. The earliest he can do on Tuesday is 5:30, but probably closer to 6. We're happy to pick up dinner and bring in. I'm just not sure what Papa's allowed to eat because since he had that kidney transplant, like, he has some restrictions on what he's allowed to eat. So she says, 6 or 6:30 would be fine. I think I will try to get a reservation tomorrow and get back with you. Thank you again for today. A special day. And then I validate back, me too, Ben's excited to see you. So we have it on the books and everything, like it's scheduled, we're good to go. And then I have to give you some more backstory for the next part of this. So while I was there and we were talking, you know, about how like everyone in the family would probably side with me. Again, my grandma said that completely unprompted because apparently my mom's burned bridges with everybody. She specifically says like, hey, you know, your aunt would probably love to reconnect with you, especially like now that you know what happened with her and your mom during childhood. Especially because like for family holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, like you could come to your aunt's house and when we do stuff with them and that like way you'd have family to do stuff with. This is so depressing now. And I was so excited. I was so excited. Like I grew up very close with my cousins and my grandparents. As I said in a previous video, my grandma, like I'd be at their house often. My grandparents and my aunt and cousins, aunt, uncle, and cousins, they were next door neighbors. So like I was around all of them a ton. And I really enjoyed spending time with them specifically because they were the ones who had the kid who's autistic, my cousin who's autistic. And so their household, I felt like was like very sensory friendly, very autistic friendly. And like, obviously I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know that I was autistic. However, I just knew that I felt like this innate level subconsciously of like comfort there. I just felt very comfortable. And I felt like it was a way less chaotic and stressful home to be in than mine was. So I take what my grandma says to heart and I decide to reach out to my aunt that evening with this text. Hi, Aunt Blank. Just spent all afternoon with Grandma and Papa and I wanted to reach out to you to see about catching up sometime. Several days pass. I start to full on panic because I'm like, what if my grandma was lying? You know, what if my aunt like actually reached out to my mom and like I shouldn't, like not necessarily my grandma was lying, but like what if my grandma thought that like, you know, my aunt would side with me, but she was actually wrong. And I didn't give it much context. Like what if my aunt knows that I'm no contact with my mom? Like what if she actually is going to side with my mom? You know, all that stuff starts happening and I panic some more and I decide I'm going to text my grandma about it. So I text my grandma saying, I reached out to my aunt last night trying to catch up with her. I haven't heard back. Although my worry is that I freaked her out because I messaged her out of the blue with not much detail. I'm sure she's just busy, but wanted to say like you're welcome to let her know that I visited and the general idea of what's going on. For example, that I'm no longer speaking to my parents the next time you see her if you want to. My grandma says, okay, I will check with her. She's often working day and evening, but I'll text her later today. And then she sends me another text telling me she's made the reservation at 6 for all of us. And if that doesn't work, then the following Tuesday, and that she loves me. All right, you're going to have to comment and like for part 6, which is when I'll share those final receipts and you'll see everything blow up.